sweltering. So it's like 38 degrees in the shop this morning, which is kind of cold for working, but it actually doesn't feel that bad right now. So let's start, but I need to hurry. I should probably use this. We're gonna cut it out really pointy looking, and then when we forge it out, it will get fatter. This piece of 3/16 8670, by the way. Not very nice steel, but it's the cleanest stuff I have, so I'm gonna use it. That's bad. I made a gladiator sword. I don't think I'm gonna have much left trying to forge that shape into the shape I want, so I'm gonna replace the belt on this thing. I know this is the wrong length, so don't expect it to work. That might actually work. Yeah, we still got space. Okay, we can do this, totally. Right now it is annealing, and hopefully it'll be very, 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 very soft when it comes out, and we can do a little bit of grinding. I'm not going to do too much because it's already really thin, so I want to do my heat treat with as much steel as possible, and then do all my grinding, just so hopefully there won't be any warping or cracking or any of that bad stuff we don't want to happen. Anything? Nope. It looks pretty good. It actually looks something like a kitchen knife too, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm going to let that cool down fully. We're going to do a tiny, tiny bit of refining, like a tiny bit. I don't even know if I need it to stop working, but I am going to clean up this edge. It's almost perfect, but it's a tiny bit wider here than it is here, so I'm going to just make that a smooth curve. I don't think I'm even going to make it pointy because I want to have the most material I can, because it's already like super thin, super even. I'm not going to touch these bevels. It's fine. This is the idea. It's not much of a crazy thing. It's not anything new, but I'm just going to put my knife in here after I heat treat it. So it can still bow, but it can only bow in that tiny amount. So the thickest part is as bad as it can get, basically. Tell where it's a little bit thicker right there where I ground down the bevel. That's because it was actually even when I started. That's crazy. Okay, I clapped up the ends to tighten it up because it seemed like the angle line was bowed out a little bit, so tightened up. It looks straight, it looks good, it didn't crack. Awesome. Now we're going to take it out and do a very close examination for cracks before we go any further. Good so far. The scale can be very misleading sometimes. It can hide cracks and it can make it look like there's really bad cracks when there's not. We're good. Didn't crack here, which is the most likely spot, or right in the middle. It is really, really hard right here and not very hard at all back here. That's kind of bad. I'm thinking I'm going to redo it, actually. So I'll be back. If it destroys it, I'll cry, but I will show you that. Doesn't look like it cracked. I don't see anything major so far. Let's hope it didn't. Still definitely harder. Now onto the temper. I saw Will Stelter do this. We're going to somehow get this knife mounted right about there, and then we're going to temper the back, and the water is going to keep that edge from softening. It's a pretty cool idea. Obviously I didn't grind very much off this blade. That's because my belts are completely shot and I have not bought new ones yet, and all my bolts are dull. So I need to buy new belts. If I had a little bit more water, it would work. Okay. Still hot. Anyway, I nailed it. Hopefully it's good and soft now, so we can figure out where we want our guard and do whatever we need to do back there. So, whoa, that's hot. Curve. Super accurate. Terrible lighting, but this piece of copper I'm going to use for the guard. I just want something other than steel. This is an old bus bar that was in here before we replaced the main panel. A bus bar is what all your breakers are sitting on, yeah. The fun part. Not really. Okay, reason but out. I don't think I got any of this footage, so I sketched it. It looks beautiful. It's amazing. Cut it out. Kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about there. Where exactly we want this to go. Okay, so about there to there. We're going to drill holes there. Long, stupid long, 3/16 drill bits. Just for such a thing as this. Now I'm going to show you my favorite way to make the hole actually the right size. So I build it out pretty close with that drill bit, but it still needs a little bit more. Not quite there. So best way I found it is the ancient, literally ancient practice of burning in the tang. Burning in the tang, yes. Okay, got it on. It fits now. It's a good tight fit. Gotta kind of jam it on there to make it fit, but it fits. Even as ugly as it is, you can kind of see, you can see what I'm going for. Well, it looks, the blade shape I don't like, but I like the way the handle looks with the blade overall. There's a round over on the back of the guard, so I'm going to have to round over the whole thing, which is okay because trying to make that perfect would be impossible, so I'm also just making a round over. Alright, looking at it now, I definitely think it is too long, so I wrote some Sharpie lines there. You can't really see them. I'm going to just grind it down to that. I think it's just, it's not proportionate. It's like the blade is too much straight section before it starts curving. So I'm going to bring it back so it just has a little bit more of a smooth sweep on that edge. Okay, that's 240. I kind of like how it looks like that with the lines running parallel with where the guard's going to be. I think that's pretty cool. So now I'm conflicted. Because do I leave the lines and like that look, or do I hand sand it and risk it looking worse because I'm not good at hand sanding? I keep calling this a guard. It's not a guard. It's a bolster. So we're going to use some 60 grit to get the shape nice and where I want it. This is the only recycled piece in this whole thing. That's kind of sad. A lot of my projects are almost entirely recycled, and this one's just like bought and stuff. It's just sad. Yes, it looks very well on there. I think for my first kitchen knife, that looks pretty good. I don't know. Okay, handle sanding. I think I'm going to start at 220 because it looks pretty good. Shape's good. No tall spots except for that one. So I think we're fine. The file finish is actually smoother, like it's because it's just cutting it off so clean. It wouldn't even raise right now if you got it wet, which is pretty cool. Okay, I just got it wet to raise the grain and it did place, so I guess we're good. I think we're gonna glue it up. Let's mix some epoxy and we will be done. I might put a pin in, I don't know. Pops out. Uh-oh, we hit friction already. You know what that means? I mean, maybe you don't, but I do, so. More alcohol. This is just alcohol, so it's not going to affect anything adversely. It'll dry off the handle in no time. It'll just also clean out that ugly epoxy. And now it looks super, super clean. Is it still in the drawer? It is, look at that. We are going to tape off the copper guard. This is something I've never done. I've never taped off something that's already polished. Because normally I'm doing my highest polish after the handle's on. But now that piece is actually a higher polish than I want to do on the handle. So I'm going to tape it off to use steel wool, which is a new one for me. Clean it up with steel wool. Nice, smooth finish. Okay, I think we're gonna put my symbol on it. Having a real wood burner, like this, it's not a very nice one, I guess. It costs like 50 bucks, which is pretty expensive for a wood burner, for me at least. Light years better than anything I've ever had before. Super nice. If you do any wood burning, definitely just don't use one of those old ones that are everywhere, like the $5 ones. I'm gonna clean up while I'm waiting. I used to always sketch it in pencil before I started, but now I don't think I'm going to. I'm just gonna write it and hope I get it accurate enough to look good. I had somebody comment that my symbol looks just like Chris Reeves, or Chris Reeve. I think it's just Reeve. It's not Christopher Reeve, not Superman, different guy, but mine is a C, an R, but it's also an I in the middle. On the bottom here, you probably cannot see that at all, but right here there's a line on the Chris Reeve ones. I don't do that. I used to, actually, before I even knew about Chris Reeve, who he was or what he was, but then I stopped because I thought it looked better without it. Hopefully I won't be sued by him that quick. Okay, we're gonna clean it off with alcohol and then put mineral oil on it, which is food safe. You do want it oiled though, because if you don't oil it, it'll rust. Wow, that's a really big flat bevel. I left a little bit of the forging, just to remind you that it is a forged knife. Mineral oil will hopefully stick to the steel pretty well. I don't really know. It's oil, so it should. Actually, we're going to oil the entire thing. And we're going to start with the handle. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Now we're going to sharpen it. And I happen to have Father's Diamond Stone right here. I do not have a diamond stone personally, which is kind of funny because I'm the knife maker, but anyway. We're going to start on the fine side and see if I can cut these bevels in. Probably not, but we'll see. It's usually a lot easier than I think it's going to be. Hey, it didn't cut that much. That makes me happy. So we're going to go coarse side first. Okay, now I'm going to teach you the way I sharpen knives. I got bevels down. I took it to 1200 grit, which is the 325, and a 1200 grit diamond stone is what this stone is, which is a big jump, but it's actually super easy with the diamond because it'll just cut anything. It was really hard to do, so I'm happy about the hardness. So now it is, I already did 10 swipes on both sides, only cutting this way, like you're cutting through the stone. You don't, and not going backwards because you're creating a bigger burr that way. And I want to make the burr as small as possible once I get to 0. So I got to 0, there's no light reflecting on the edge. There is nothing there except for what I can't see. So I did 10 strokes this way, 10 strokes this way, only pushing forward. I just did 9 on this side, so now I'm going to go 9 on this side. And that's it. And then we go to this side and get 8, and we just count down to 1, and then go back and forth, putting lighter and lighter and lighter until you are almost no pressure, pulling up actually on the knife, and then you go to a strop. And it gets pretty sharp that way. Anyway, I'm going to keep going here. We're going to strop it because it does help. Because you're always going to create a burr. No matter what you do with the steel, you're always going to create a burr. But the strop doesn't create a burr. It cuts it off. That's a sharp knife. It's really weird, but it's just a piece of paper. It's got metal shavings on it. I don't want to cut through that. I'm actually a little bit nervous about the edge geometry. So... That is like insane. Wow, that's like the best. I've never seen a knife cut that well. Like ever. And I won't do it. Good knife. I'm not wearing my apron, but anyway, this is going to be a great outro because this is a great knife. This is one of the coolest knives I've made, even though it's a kitchen knife. I know it's a chef's knife. We'll call it a chef's knife. Sounds better that way. It's unbelievably sharp. The edge geometry is amazing, obviously, because I've never, ever, ever with any knife cut through paper like that, I don't think. Maybe I have. Definitely not one that I've made, though, so I'm very, very happy with that. And this is a pretty cool one, even if I do say so myself. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next one.